Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Angie.
And together we are
TwinFinity.
TwinFinity.
And Cookie.
And Cookie.
And Cookie. This is our Christmas cookie that we're not allowed to eat.
No.
And as you can tell, she looks ever so impressed to be participating in this nonsense that she hates every year. She's like, why do you guys torture me? We put our hats on and then we called her to come over and she was like, no, I'm not doing this, people.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm staying over here.
There was some distant memory that caused her to go, no, something's just not going to go well.
Look and say hi and then you can go away. Say Merry Christmas, everybody.
There. Fixed.
Miserable. Okay. There you go. The torture is over.
Bye. Of course, now she's all happy to be put down.
Yeah, she's free now. So, welcome to a Christmas question and answer video and solstice as well. Happy solstice. We're recording this on Christmas Eve, so it's only 3 days? 2 days? Was the solstice on the 22nd?
21st actually this year.
Okay. I never know.
Yeah, 3 days.
I'm not good at keeping track of this stuff.
Ah.
So, before we officially start questions, we always have our little story that we tell at the beginning. But before we do that, I just have to show off the rainbow tree. And if you watched our question and answer video last Christmas, I actually looked so I could tell you exactly where I talked about it. It was 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the video, and I will link it above in case you want to check it out, that I mentioned that it was my goal for this Christmas to have a rainbow tree. So I could not find the decorations that I wanted pre-made, so I had to just buy little wooden hearts and then I painted them individually.
One by one, different colors.
They were all over our dining room table for months. I actually started in July, I think. It was kind of crazy. But yes, then I added little sparkles. Oh, you can't see that one. Little sparkles to them so they'd be all shimmery. And it actually, the tree looks better not lit up. When it's lit up, it kind of washes them out. So we decided for the video we wouldn't light our tree because it doesn't show up near as good. But we have rainbows.
And besides, it's daylight out right now.
Yes,
so
it is.
It doesn't need the lights.
No. Yeah. So, do you want to tell our story of the month?
Yeah, okay, I'll do that.
And you're the one with the dog, too, in your lap. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, Cookie's kind of crashed out with me for the moment.
Yeah.
What she's waiting for is for my ankles to stick out, my bare ankles to stick out below my pant leg so that she can give me a foot wash.
Yeah, not going to happen.
It just might. But anyway, the story for the month. It might sound a little overbearing, but it really kind of isn't unless somebody's on a mission. I mean, a mission to get something done in a hurry. We call it the pass kiss.
Oh my God.
So, we're both walking down a hallway towards each other. One or the other of us, usually me by a wide margin, will stop in the middle, and in order to get past me, I have to have a pass kiss.
And that's what he coined it years ago. Pass kiss. You can't go past me until I get a kiss.
It's sort of like when you're in school and there's a hall pass or whatever. Yeah, this is a pass kiss.
Yeah. So I've just learned to offer them up now. I'm highly task oriented. I am what I call a GSD person, get stuff done. Or
that was polite.
Yeah, that was the polite version. It's Christmas. I'll be polite. The other version is get it done.
Yeah.
So I'm always like on a mission. I'm going. I'm getting stuff done. And Rob will be like, pass kiss, and I'll roll my eyes and be like, fine. And I know most twin flames would be like, oh my God, that's like my dream. Like, I'll give my twin a kiss anytime. And I know, I get it. But sometimes you're like, got stuff to do. It's like, I'm going somewhere. I'm doing something. So now I've learned to just give him his kiss and then I can go.
I give her kiss so that we can both go. How about that?
Okay, fine. Fine.
Wouldn't want to just say, go by.
That's right.
Go away.
Go away.
I'm busy. Meh.
Yeah.
No.
You're much more lovey than I am sometimes.
So anyway, that's the story of the past kiss.
Yes, that's our story of the video time this time.
And something else happened this week that we thought, oh, we got to note that one.
Yeah, we got to write it on the list.
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll happen again.
I hope so, because it was in the kitchen. I remember it just happened like 2 days ago.
We thought, yes, we got to write that down, and we didn't.
Yeah.
It happens once in a while, so it's bound to happen again.
Yeah.
All right.
Should we dive into questions? We have some interesting ones for this time around that kind of don't really fit the theme of Christmas, but that's just the way it goes. It's questions, so
It's questions, yes.
we'll just answer them however they come to us in the order they come to us. So it's those questions' turns.
And Angie has got little notes and side comments written all over the place on this.
I had to do some research this time. I had to do a bit of work. So I got notes that I'm going to have to refer to because it's stuff that I don't even know about. So I had to write notes so I could explain it to other people. And other people might know better than me. And they'll go, oh, no, this is what it is. And I'm like, thank you.
All I know is I'm not planning on reading the handwritten bits.
No, because I can't even barely read them. I don't know how you would. By the way, you can lose the hat if you want to.
Yeah, I'm starting to get warm. My
Yeah.
ears are getting toasty.
Yeah. All right. Christmas is over.
Okay.
It's over now. Now I got to fix my hair.
Yeah. Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, all that hair you got. It's complicated. Don't wreck the tree.
Yes, we're actually quite squished in beside our little tree. There's not a whole lot of room to move here.
No.
So
But it's okay.
if the tree shakes once in a while, it's just because we tried to move. Okay.
Hey, this one's a fairly easy one.
Wow.
They get harder as we go. Good luck.
Hold. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I just glanced down at one of the other ones and
And you're panicking now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a 6-syllable word coming up in one of the future questions here. I'll try not to blow up on that one.
Good luck.
Okay, first question. Would you be able to share on how we can identify if we are on the right track relating to career and the twin flame journey? Are there signs or feelings that tell us whether we are on the right track or if there's a better direction in which we can head? I'm going to let you take first run at that.
I was going to say, do you have any thoughts on that? I thought this was an interesting question because I know for myself, I've been through this and a lot of people seem to go through this. Oftentimes, even though you're on the right track, it might not look like it when it comes to career and twin flame. And I really like how this person tied in career and twin flame because they do seem, at least in my experience, they were very tied in. When I was highly unbalanced and unhealed, both the twin flame journey and my career journey were quite a disaster. If you know our story, if you don't, I'll link it above. But I had a very challenging career journey. Even though when I met Rob, I had just graduated from university as a registered nurse. Should have been easy to find a job, but it was not. I went homeless. I lost almost everything I owned. And that was part of my journey. But it was also just because I had so much healing and work to do that was part of the healing and work. So when you're on the journey and have a lot of healing work to do and you're not balanced yet and you have a lot of, work to do to get balanced, you might find that your career is a disaster or that you don't even have a career. You can't even get like a basic job even. But that is because you're on the path. You're on the path to healing. So even though your job stuff isn't going well, that doesn't mean you're not on the right path. But what I can also tell you from my experience and other people's experience is the more healed you become and the more balanced you become, the more everything starts to converge and you do have a career, you do have great jobs, finances start to flow, and then things with your twin flames start to flow. For me, Jobs started to come better to me just shortly, like about a year or so before we came into union. And further and further into our journey, like now, I don't look for jobs. They just show up in my lap. In fact, I have to turn them down because I get so many referrals now. And I have like three careers in a sense. I still am a nurse, I'm a bookkeeper, and I also am a Reiki master. So I have Reiki clients. So I have lots of work now, but it's because I'm in a place of balance and stability and healedness. And I don't mean like we're perfectly healed. We're never perfectly healed. But when you're in a stable place, your energy is stable, and that draws people to you, because as you become more healed and also more in union with yourself, then people feel that light and they're drawn to it. So of course, then they want to work with you. They want to hire you. And the same thing happens with your twin. When you're more balanced, your twin and you come into balance together. So when your career doesn't look good, when your twin flame journey doesn't look good, that doesn't mean you're on the wrong path. It just means there's more work to do. When everything starts to come together, it means you're coming together in your own healing, in your own balance with yourself and with union with kind of all that is, whether that's just you or you and your twin, or you, your twin, and the universe. That was kind of a long-winded answer, but
Yes, yes, it was. And just when I thought I had another idea, you would all of a sudden cover it on me. So you've kind of left me short on comments, but I do have a couple of thoughts.
And I think it would be good to address it from the masculine perspective, because you've always had jobs and a career, and I mean, you've been a manager for 25 years, so.
And that was one of the first thoughts I had is when my career was going good, it was actually harder on the twin flame journey, because because that's when I got all focused and determined and black and white in my thinking. And
you were the GSD one.
Yes.
Get stuff done. You were the drill sergeant and the.
Yeah. So when my career was going good, it was hard on the twin flame journey. But this is, I'm going to twist this question around. I'm going to twist it back on itself, because it says can we identify if we are on the right track relating to career and twin flame journey. I'm going to leave career alone now.
Okay.
The twin flame journey isn't just the footsteps that you want to walk. It's all the footsteps that make up the journey. So how do you know you're on the right path? My biggest word for this question would be change. Sure, you've got maybe your journey of the path towards your twin. You've got your personal growth that you want to do. How about how you also are communicating with the world around you? Maybe in the, I'm going to use the term, mission of light and love, with people who have no idea what you're doing and what's going on in your quote-unquote personal life. There's all these aspects to the journey. And when you look at all of them, when you admit that they exist, if you are in a situation where all of those aspects of the journey are not changing, then that would be probably a sign that you're not on the right path. As long as something is changing, as long as something is morphing from one thing to another, you could be absolutely stuck in one aspect, but a couple of the other aspects of it, yeah, they're trudging along, they're advancing as much as you don't really care if that portion advances, or maybe it's very important to you. It's all depending upon what's changing. As long as there is change, you're on a path that's worthy. So change. Note that. That's your benchmark.
Yeah, because change is progression. Whether it doesn't always look like progression, it doesn't look like it's moving forward, but all change is in the big scheme of things.
And of course, as change happens, if it turns out really negative, well, that might be also a thought that there could be a different direction. that you could go something a little bit more of a better path, but not all steps feel good in the journey. Sometimes you step backwards so that you can step backwards off of one branch to step onto a different branch that then takes you forward in a different direction. So even if something negative happens, quite often you have to be a little bit patient. A little bit patient.
A little bit of patience.
A little bit of patient. Just not a lot of bit of patient. And
a little bit of patience.
and see where that takes you, and that could take sometimes weeks or months to understand why something had to go bad to turn out better in the long run. So yeah, as long as there's change, I wouldn't be too concerned.
Yeah. All right, the next question we're going to answer but not answer.
Yeah, this question piqued a lot of my curiosity as I found out from Angie that we didn't have an answer to a question. But we'll try it.
It's because we don't pre-read questions. Maybe that would help us sometimes.
Yeah, Angie takes a glance at them pretty much because she has to, because she prints them out on a piece of paper. But
to glance at them like weeks before we do the video, we don't do that. And that might have helped this, because then we might have had an answer. But that's okay. We'll come back to it.
The question is, do you happen to know your Myers-Briggs personality types? I ask because a lot of the differences you describe between Angie's introverted approach to life and Rob's extroverted approach really remind me of my twin and I. I'm an INFJ, okay, and he is an ENFP. I wonder if you could combine that all together and make a word. In Myers-Briggs, every type has one perfect complement, which INFJs and ENFPs are to each other. I've always wondered if there might be some correlation between twin flames and these complementary personality types. I have taken numerous personality tests, but not this one. Usually, especially in the ones where I've been in a management course and they say, okay, let's do our personalities, and I'm thinking, let's do this for the fourth time. Usually the instructor at the front of the class would look at me and say something along the lines of, oh wow, there is drugs for that. You can get help. It is possible, We know what to do with people like you. I've had that comment. Yeah, oh wow, there's drugs for that. Someone said that, I'm thinking, yeah, I really realize that I can be really out there sometimes. But no, I haven't taken this particular test, but this might be fun. It's been many, many years since I've actually taken one of these, since most of the other personality quizzes, or whatever you'd call them, tests, tended to go in about the same direction because I haven't changed a whole lot over the years. I've refined myself a little bit. I've learned how to be a little bit different than my natural state, but my natural state is pretty much that. When I'm not under stress, I'm very analytical and kind, and when I am under stress, I can be a little bit of a bear, actually. I can be like, okay, I don't like this.
It's very cut and dry.
Yeah. So how about you?
This is why I wish I had read this question a couple weeks ago, is because, first of all, I have done this test. Like Rob, I have done many personality tests, probably 6 or 8 different kinds over the years. And the one I resonated most with, I can't even remember what test it was, but it told me I was a achiever, which means, again, task-oriented. Kind of like we shared at the very beginning of this video. I'm on the move. Rob's like, nope, pass kiss.
Pass kiss, yeah. I have to be careful with the pass kiss sometimes. Sometimes I abort the pass kiss because I'm just going to get run over or stomped on.
Because I'm just a highly task-oriented achiever type of personality. But I have done the Myers-Briggs test, and I cannot find my results. So I don't even remember what I was. I did it years ago before Rob and I were even together. It was actually with my ex that we've shared about in videos. So he might have that. I might not even have it because I keep all sorts of paper like that. And I have other personality tests with all that paper, but not that one. So I'm kind of like, But that's good since you haven't done it. We'll actually take the time sometime and do it and then report back to you guys.
Words that quite often come up for me from other tests have been supporter, peacekeeper. I'm fairly much a nurturer.
Yes.
Task is.
Fairly much. That's an understatement.
So, yeah, I just like to see everybody do well.
And we actually, when we were first coming together, or not coming together, but came together in union, again, if you remember our story, we had a lot of trauma even after union because of our exes and all the craziness that came out of all that. So we went to counseling together just to kind of get support and keep our relationship as healthy as possible. And the counselor that we were seeing actually had us do a personality test. I can't remember what that one was. Was it the DISC test? DISC?
I think it was a form of the DISC test.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's where it came out that you're the peacekeeper. And I forget what mine was in that one, but it had something to do again with the achiever, the task-oriented kind of.
The pin puller on the grenade as opposed to the peacekeeper.
That's right. Not quite that bad.
Merry Christmas, boy. Apparently I'm in a little bit of a frame of mind today.
It's because you didn't get enough of your past kisses today. So we will do the test and report back, but we wanted to still bring up this question, number one, because it was in line to be answered, but also it would be interesting for other people watching if you've done the test and or if your twin has done the test to see what this person's referencing, and I'll just talk about it again. So she's saying the INFJ and the ENFP are very complementary, and so it would be interesting for others watching to know if you've done the test and if you fall in line with one of these two, and if you know your twins, if they fall in line with these two. Kind of a cool question to know how twin flames fit into the Myers-Briggs test. Kind of neat to know.
What if we're not on complementary grounds? Like, what if we don't?
Well, then that's it. It's over. What are we going to do?
We're toast.
And actually, that brings up, we're making light of it, but that does bring up a good point. Don't base your entire life on personality tests. Like, I know some people will be like, oh, my twin and I can't be together, or I can't be together with this other relationship because we're not compatible in whatever. And even astrology-wise, some signs it might say, oh, you're not compatible. I caution you. Some people might say, oh, no, there's like definite, purpose to all of that. In my opinion, I caution you to just live your life and don't worry so much about like what these things say compared to what feels right for you. If it feels right, but a personality test says, oh no, that you shouldn't be with that person, go by what feels good for you. Don't worry about a test.
And also, in the realm of learning things, you can't always expect that everything that comes along has a possibility of being 100%.
For sure.
You wouldn't learn if everything was easy. So if you've got some things that you maybe need to learn how to do differently in your life to understand differences or create compatibility or at least adapt when things are just not going to be compatible, we go back to that learning about parts of the journey. And it just might be what you need to do. It's very, very important from my point of view that if a person does recognize who their twin is, chances are really good you're going to be highly motivated as well to overcome some of the struggles that may happen.
Yeah. That's why you go through this darn journey.
So it would be probably really good to understand your twin better by knowing their personality type, which should then give you their personality traits, and which would then, from that point, help you identify potential trigger points and how you would trigger each other if things are going to be rough for communication once in a while. But it's all tools, not hard set facts that will work every time.
Yeah.
It's part of the toolkit.
Yeah. Okay, good luck.
Boy, when I get a question and it's good luck. Is it good luck with the answer or good luck reading the question?
Good luck. Well, just good luck pronouncing that word that I didn't. I
Oh,
only researched what it was, but I didn't research how to pronounce it.
I'm going to get it wrong because I just realized it's got 3 vowels in a row in it.
Yeah.
There's no rule for 3 vowels in a row. Okay, are we ready? I have been receiving more and more awareness in regards to the interdimensional war, targeting, okay, I'm skipping that word, targeting, well, okay, you help me with that. What's that?
Cabal.
Cabal,
Yes.
oh yeah, of twin flames. There is a war running in the background to keep twin souls apart. Separation, runner-chaser, etc., are not what most twins believe it to be. Twin flames are very ancient souls, and if they come together in 3D harmonious union, they create one-of-a-kind scalar waves. I get that.
Yeah, I didn't research what that is. I don't really know. But
that assist with this ascension raising in consciousness. Has this come up in your relationship awareness? The war on twin flames? There's the word, Iani massacre?
That's how I pronounce it. Iani. Do you want to spell it in case other people know it?
E-I-E, there's the 3 vowels in a row, then Y-A-N-I, massacre. Has your sacred connection been attacked by infiltrators trying to make you argue/split you apart after you've come into union, or even before? Yeah, the question is, also has at the end, please let me know if this is the first time you hear about the Iani massacre. I'm going to have to say yes.
Yep, complete first time. I actually just did a quick bit of research on it, so I will, this is where my tiny chicken scratch notes come in that Rob's like, oh, you have to read that because I don't know what that says. So this is what I researched and learned about the Iani massacre. It was in the Lemurian Atlantean times, and it was where females of higher council members and females that had high DNA codes were taken by these lower energy beings and used for forced breeding in order to harness their high energy. So yeah, never heard of this before. Very interesting. Going back to the question though, I will answer from my perspective, but I'm interested to hear your perspective. I do believe, I do understand about that there being a war running in the background, but I personally don't give it any energy. I don't speak about it. I don't think about it because we are high energy beings and nobody can take our energy unless we're willing to give it up. That's my belief. Other people might see that differently, but I'm a sovereign being. Nobody's going to harness my energy without me having some sort of role in it. Because on a higher perspective, we're all working for the same team. Yes, down here there is light, there is dark. Absolutely. Not denying that at all. As for our own connection, I don't feel like we've had that. Of course, yes, we've had the runner-chaser. Yes, we've had separation, but in my perspective, that was just all part of our journey. That all needed to be for our growth and for our healing. It wasn't, I didn't ever see it as dark forces trying to prevent us from being together. It was just part of the journey as it needed to unfold.
My thoughts are very, very similar. As soon as I see the word war or struggle or attempt to manipulate or harness power, I've almost got a little bit of and it's a very gentle, a good luck in getting to my energy because all of those activities are at a lower energy level than I typically am in. Now,
right.
Sometimes maybe if I go to work and there's a whole lot of confrontation going on and I get embroiled in the middle of it all, yeah, sure, my own personal energy denominator for a few minutes during all these struggles probably drops down to a very average 3D level so that I could exist through what's going on at work. But the only thing that that causes me to pause and question is uh, I'm going to say that most of us who have felt and experienced and try to achieve staying in our higher energies, we go through times where we oscillate between being, here we go, right on the path, feeling great and strong and good, and then other times it's like everything is energetically dead around us, or people even go into to a dark night of the soul. Those kind of broad range changes, um, even I don't get too worried about. You know,
Yeah.
maybe stand on the ocean, waves crash on the shore, and then they go away, and then they crash on the shore again. The energy comes, the energy goes. It's all part of a breathing natural cycle. Because again, if something isn't changing, then it's also not going anywhere. So, no, I think that if you're even only half-heartedly staying in your highest energies, you're probably drifting above any conflicts, wars, whatever you want to call them, going on in the background. You've probably found ways to just keep your energy to yourself and just use it the way that you need to. Let everybody else have their struggles if they're of a lower enough energetic level that it actually affects them. So, no, I don't. It might be a goal of a war going on in the background, but I think for the majority of people, especially people who would be watching this video, nah, it's not something that we need to worry about.
I just wanted to also re-ask this question. Has your sacred connection been attacked by infiltrators trying to make you argue / split up or split you apart after you came into union or even before?
No, once we got a couple of karmics out of the way, yeah, we were just fine. Sorry.
And some people though could even say, well, that was it. That was them infiltrating and trying to break you apart. Again, everybody has their own perspective. My perspective is no, that was their role to help us grow, and all it actually did was make us stronger. It gave us more power yet.
It allowed us to recognize that how much we wanted the relationship,
Right.
how much we wanted to be together. So, if it was an attempt through some form of energetic manipulation of any type, it did more to backfire than to work.
And just to reiterate, I don't think any of us, twin flame or not twin flame, can be manipulated unless on some level we're allowing it. It might not be on a conscious level, but when you understand who you really are as a light being, as an eternal soul, source, energy being, you have full autonomy, full authority over yourself. Nobody can control you, manipulate you, play you, unless you are allowing it on some level. So I don't even feed that energy. I don't even talk about it. I don't give it any of my energy.
I also have another comment to throw in here. I have a very high regard for the stories about Lemuria and related times. Myself, I personally believe, I don't mind being wrong, I personally believe that energies were more vibrant, I'm going to say higher during those times.
For sure.
And therefore, jealous entities may have tried a lot harder to harness those energies because they were so much more prevalent. They were out there much stronger. So it could be possible, just saying, that maybe my energy isn't good enough to be a target yet. Just saying.
It's an interesting perspective. I was kind of going to go the other way, is that most of us that are on the earth now as twin flames and as other beings, I'm not just saying just twin flames, we're in the Lemurian and Atlantean times. I very much remember being in the Atlantean times. So we were those people having our energy harnessed, and it was also part of our own choice on some higher level to allow that for our own growth.
Energies change over time too. So maybe the styles of energies that were around way back in those times have evolved into something much more stable. I realize the last thing I said was relatively demeaning, but it could be that the energies back then, as much as they had a strength, were also much more vulnerable. From the point of view of what Angie just said, we could very possibly be survivors of those times who had the right tools or styles of energy to continue on, and our energies are reasonably safe where they're at.
All right.
I really like that question. That question, is one of those ones
Oh
where
man,
where
that's
if we get comments in 4 or 5 different directions, we might have to come back and retry that with better understanding.
yeah, that's one that again you talk about in a live kind of twin flame workshop.
Yes.
Oh, that would be hours
Oh.
of conversation, I'm sure.
There'd be pockets of people that over the lunch break would just be talking about all that. Well, I knew this and I thought that and I felt this. Wow, it would be one of those great situations to be the fly on the wall, listening to everybody else's experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is wordy. All right. Anything tricky in here?
I don't think so.
Good.
I think it's all pretty straightforward.
Oh.
This is why I throw him with the questions.
If after making the initial connection, the twin who carries the codes of higher consciousness, the female in most cases, isn't it? It's assumed to be.
It's usually the feminine energy, not necessarily the female.
Okay, chooses not to date others to stay single celibate. How do you believe that this is affecting the connection, even if the twins are in no 3D contact for years?
Okay.
That's a question within a question. By observing, not to say stalking, my twin's 2D avatar that unfolded since our contract is that he had a fair number of entanglements with other women, 5-ish or so over the past 7 years. Some were platonic, as in spending higher quality time together, other relationships that didn't last more than a year and a half. I'm wondering how the energy that I project radiate is affecting this. That's another question within a question. I did a lot of work on myself, clearing jealousy, resentment, and more recently, I have been pushed face to face with the Other Woman program, a combo of fear, mistrust, worry, looking for signs that one's partner may be cheating on them, in part due to the wound of being cheated, betrayed in other relationships of this life or other lives. It seems to me that true twins have a relationship history mirroring me and my twin, it appears, never having had deep soul growth, meaningful relationships with others. Also, both never married, no kids, don't want kids. There's about 7 different commentable points in all that.
So I guess the biggest question is how does it affect when one person consciously chooses to stay single? Does it affect the other person? That's kind of the gist of the question.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
The first half of all that was very much that question. Does that energy of staying single and I'm going to use the word focused on understanding the twin flame connection and therefore not going outside of that connection, does that affect the other one who is not staying focused on the twin flame connection? They're out experiencing stuff. I'm going to say not that the other twin notices.
Right. It's not happening for them on a conscious level. And I'm not quite sure if there's like an inside intent for this question, but I know some people think that mirroring is like an exact science, that if I do this, it'll make my twin do that. And that is not how mirroring works. So like, I'm not sure if this person is asking, hey, if I stay single, is that going to mirror my twin to stay single and not be with other women, which then will not trigger my jealousy? So no. it doesn't work that way. If just because you're single, it's not going to cause your twin to then think, oh, I should be single and only focus on my twin and focus on the relationship with them. They have their own journey to work through, and that journey might involve other people, other women, other relationships for their own growth, for their own healing. Like we had relationships while we were apart and we needed them. We wouldn't have come together without them because they provided healing and clearing and growing, and that's why often they're called karmic relationships for that very reason. They're clearing karma. We've had other lives with these people, and we need to kind of wrap all that up and clear that stuff so that we can kind of, do all that, put it in a nice tiny box and set it aside so then we can move forward with our person without all that baggage. So he might be doing exactly the work that he needs to be doing while you're doing the exact work that you need to be doing. Your work might be to be celibate and single so that you can clear some of these patterns. And his work might also be to have all these other relationships, which then trigger you into the jealousy and all of those other things so that you can heal them. Without him having the other relationships, you wouldn't be triggered into that jealousy, which then you wouldn't be aware that it was there to heal.
My comment might even be longer than what Angie just said.
Good luck.
I've got numerous thoughts that I could probably take 10 minutes to just explain the background so that when I express the thoughts that they all actually tie together. So I'll try not to make it that complicated. On a 5D level, your two souls are staying in communication. Usually, they're not working against each other, they're working with each other. So if one of the souls is, let's say, remaining celibate, remaining grounded, chances are it's needing to learn that as part of its journey. So if the two are working together, if one is being grounded, the other one then can take a little chances with what it's doing and go out and explore the world, knowing that if things don't go very well, there is a grounded spot on a soul-to-soul communication that it can come back to, regroup, grab a nice fresh glass of water, recover, and then go out and explore again. So yeah, it's like swimming in a fast river when you're still roped to somebody that's on the shore. The two might not be doing anything similar, but one's doing the growth by having other relationships, but then translating and expressing the learnings back to the other one that's being grounded and staying more or less in one spot and learning their levels of patience. So it still is a two-way street of communication on a 5D level. So does it help? Yes, for the one that's out there being the big explorer, there is likely a lot of comfort knowing that the other twin is taking it easy and being a rock, an island, just in case.
And I almost see it like a tether. It's helping them so they don't go too out of control. They have like a tether holding them in place. Now, those were all good points. I wanted to just clarify one thing because this might trigger some people when you were saying you're two souls. Some people think you're one soul split in half, and you are, but you're not half a soul each. So you still are you each have your own soul. Yes, you're the same soul, you're the same essence, right? So I just wanted to clarify because I can almost imagine somebody's going to be like, wait a second, you're not two souls. But you are, in a sense. You're the same soul, but you've been split, but you're each your own whole. You're not halves.
Just like good old human identical twins.
Yes.
Hard to tell apart. Very, very similar starting point, essence point, but still individual.
Right. You're not half a person just because you're a twin. Not a twin flame, but a twin.
No, if we do the Briggs-Miller's test and each come back with 2 letters each, then maybe we were a half a person.
That'll be funny.
Okay, I'm just being corny.
Yes, you are. Okay, Okay, did we answer this person's all their
Oh,
questions?
this question could have been a whole video all on its own.
You say that so often, it's funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fear of crimes. Doing a lot of work. Oh yeah, declaring the jealousy. Combo of fear, mistrust, worrying, looking for signs that one partner may be cheating on them. Cheating on them, even if it is energetically, still does require a little bit of work to sort and file. Whether it's in 3D or 5D, that jealousy, that mistrust, the why is this happening? Why does this have to happen? The what's wrong with the other person or what's wrong with me? It just creates so many questions when you don't get what you want. That almost reminds me of the definition of experience. It becomes an experience. Experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Because if you just get what you want, then it's just too easy.
I thought there was another piece to this, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, you've got a whole lot of notes in the margin.
Well, those are actually the next question, because I didn't print all of the questions. I've been busy working. I wasn't prepared.
It's a busy time of the year. See, I went and committed us to doing a couple more videos in a short amount of time, and
it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm
sort of hung Angie out to dry.
Ask the next question. How do you know if it's a karmic partner, a twin flame, or a red string of fate? I have an answer for what that is, in case you don't know. I researched that too.
I'm wearing a red shirt. That's as close as I get.
Okay, so how do you know if it's a karmic partner, twin flame, a red string of fate, or just a heart manipulation of one person's mind attached to another's heart that is kind of controlling them? So they're basically wanting to know, how do you know which one of these kind of connections you're in? Or like, is it a love where you're both together in a higher love, heart to heart? So before we answer, I just wanted to explain, in case other people don't know what the red string of fate is, because I did not know either. So I researched this as well. It's an Eastern philosophy that is a belief in destiny, much like in the Western we call it soulmates, or twin flames possibly. But yeah, so it's an Eastern philosophy of like you're destined to be together. I thought that was kind of quite beautiful. Red string of fate. So I don't know about you, but I wasn't going to go too much into this because we have done a video, which we will link above, on the difference between twin flames, karmic partners, soulmates. We didn't talk about red string of fate, but that would be tied to soulmates. So we will link that so you can watch that one. But I did want to kind of just address the last bit of it where they talked about, like, how do you know it's one of those, or if it's just one person's mind attached to another and they're trolling and manipulating them. Because that kind of goes back to that other question of, like, dark entities and manipulating and controlling and all of that.
People are afraid. Oh no, I just had a term come to my mind. People are afraid of looking like a ham sandwich.
Okay, say more.
People are afraid of being duped into thinking that they either are in love or should be in love, or that somebody else is in love with them. People are just totally afraid of not seeing things for the way that they are and seeing too much in something that they maybe should not be putting their energy into. I think it's important to respect relationships for the way that they present themselves. Not the they, the humans, the way the relationship presents itself. If it's full of big highs and big lows, I would be a little more concerned than for a relationship that is steady and reliable in the energy that it presents. The big highs might be really big highs, but if it's got big lows, you'd almost need to wonder why. Like, why does there need to be such compensation for maybe is it the big highs that are responding and compensating for the lows, or is it the lows trying to give you a hint that the highs aren't necessarily what they appear to be? So when you've got a relationship that stands out as being different, and if it feels better, people say, don't trust feelings, stick with the facts. With what we talk about in these videos, it's very hard to have facts. It's a lot of feeling and intuition. It really is, because as soon as you apply a fact, someone's going to have an exception. So trends, feeling, intuition, when you've got something that is clearly not normal but has something special about it, maybe it carries magic. That's a great word to describe things that just happen that obviously are special. So I think rather than trying to go into all the different definitions, it's very important to understand whether or not you've got a relationship that would be more guided from a 5D point of view, something that is obviously got a little bit of divinity in it, or whether you've just got a really nice, good old standard 3D relationship that also feels good, and maybe that needs to be respected for what that is too. Because anytime you have a relationship that feels good, sometimes you stop asking why and just enjoy it.
I didn't actually get to say this in that last question, so I wanted to bring it up now. It's kind of my thought when people talk about being manipulated and the fear of, whether it's a person manipulating them or a dark entity manipulating them. Often, again, this is my perspective, I see that as being the ego. We come to life with the ego and the soul. The soul knows that everything is divinity. Everything we experience, we have drawn to us, because the soul is never victim to anything. It is the creator of everything. The ego is the one that looks at things from victim, black and white, and it needs logic. And if it doesn't understand the logic, then it will create an outside perspective of, well, then this is happening to me. This person's controlling me, or this person is manipulating me, or this is happening to me. I'm not explaining this very well. I wish I would have had more time to kind of think this through, but do you kind of know where I'm going?
Ego counterbalances trust.
Yes, that's such a good way to put it. Thank you. I think you speak. You're so good at it.
Sometimes when you need that faith or that trust to just let things play out, the ego will get in the way and say, nope, it's too unsafe. You don't get to have that experience. You don't get to have that experience at all.
And the ego is so busy, instead of allowing things to flow, oftentimes with our twin flame, if we haven't heard from them for a while, our ego jumps to, well, the hell with them, and they're not communicating, and I'm closing the door on them.
Bleep.
Yeah, you can bleep that. The ego wants to jump in there and attack because it feels attacked. It feels threatened. It feels like it has been hurt. And what the ego wants to do is protect us. That's its job, is to keep us safe in this world. So it overcompensates. Whereas if we can learn to balance the ego and know that it has an existence and a purpose, often people say, in order to be with your twin flame, in order to come to union, you have to kill the ego. You have to get rid of the ego. Absolutely not. We wouldn't be human without an ego. We need the ego. It's learning how to manage the ego. I call my ego a bouncer because that's exactly what it used to be. Is anytime I felt unsafe, i.e. Rob comes into my life when I first meet him as a twin flame and he swarms me with love and I'm like, this is too scary. Love hurts in my experience of my childhood, so I don't want anything to do with that. So my ego gets mean and pushes him away.
I got bounced.
You got bounced. Because my ego was like, this is unsafe. I need to do whatever I need to do to keep you safe. So I'm going to push everybody else away if they cross any lines that feel unstable for what I know and how I know to manage things. If I had learned back then to be in my soul, I would have welcomed his love and I wouldn't have pushed it away. But that was, of course, part of the journey and part of the growth. So it's learning to balance your soul and your ego and know when your ego has an alarm that you need to listen to, but know when it's also just in fear and it's trying to push things away and think that you're being manipulated, you're being controlled, your energy is being harnessed by other people, all of that sort of stuff. Again, I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, but that's kind of my perspective. A lot of that fear is coming from ego. Soul sees everything as love and it knows it's the creator of everything. Nothing can happen to it without its permission. So it's just, which perspective are you coming from?
It was a very long-winded explanation.
It was.
But it was pretty deep, too. You needed those words.
I know, but I feel like I babbled because I couldn't quite get what's in here and in here out there.
That's going to be an interesting perspective.
This is why I write better than I speak. I definitely, when I write, I just channel. When I speak, I'm not so much. You're the channel when you speak. I'm not much.
As far as the red, what was that called? The red
I just want
string of fate.
Yeah, I just want to let us know we're at 57. Actually, we have a little more time because we did our family picture in the beginning, which will be cut out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 2 or 3 minutes of us having fun trying to make sure our hats were straight and the dog was ready to go.
Yeah, to get our yearly family picture.
Yeah.
Anyway, your red string of fate.
You know, the red string of fate is still a divine connection.
Absolutely.
So, in the grand scheme of things, if somebody identifies that they are in some form of a divine connection and they like it, they appreciate it, they've recognized it, and they respect it, I very seldomly actually push them to throw a label onto it. Divine connection to me is perfectly fine, whether it's one flavor of divine connection or another. I just as soon let people have and enjoy the connection they have without the label if they want to stay labelless. So when I see a whole bunch of different styles of divine connection, I think, congratulations, well done, you found it.
I think I understand the question a little bit more from what you just said. The question basically is, how do you know if it's a divine connection? Whether you want to label it as a twin flame, a soulmate, a red string, how do you know it's a divine connection? Or if it's just somebody who's mean and controlling and manipulative. And I would go back to what I just said about soul versus ego. If you can get into that place of your soul, that centered knowing place, and for you it might not be called your soul, whatever you call that. For me, it's when I put my hands here and I just breathe and you just feel that, get into that place and feel. It's not a head thing, it's not analyzing, it's not knowledge, it's feeling. So get into the feeling, and that's how you will know, is this a good connection or an unhealthy connection? Because I think that's really what they're asking. They're not asking for the definitions of what's a twin flame, what's all this. They're asking, how do I know, is it this kind of connection or is it this kind of a connection?
Magic. Things that you can't explain that just give you a hint that it's a divine connection. A reverse sunset for those of us who know as well.
Yeah.
It's where you stop questioning and start believing.
Yeah, when the divine starts to intervene.
Yeah.
And things happen that you can't explain with your logical mind. That is another way to know that it's a divine connection rather than something else.
I think we got that one.
Yeah, I feel like I went off on a whole big tangent that I didn't need to go on, but hopefully it benefited somebody.
Somebody's going to say, "Hey, that was great." Don't know what caused you to say all that, but
I finally now understood what the question was asking. They weren't asking for definitions of all these things. They were just simply asking, how do I know if it's this or this?
one of these or one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Great questions. Great questions. All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Just like the presents under the tree. Okay.
It's definitely time to go now when the bad jokes come up. Time to go. Thank you for your questions. Happy solstice, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, cover all of them.
All of them.
Yes. Whatever you celebrate or whatever you don't celebrate. Some people, this might just be another day and they're like, whatever.
Yep.
That might be fine too. It's all good.
Enjoy the middle of winter.
Yes, that too.
All right.
We love you guys. We'll be back hopefully soon with another video.